I remember when he came back, and you know, fare ya gari wa inabaki. So I would tell him, babe, nibaye chipo, and he would be like, sawa, let's meet at this place. So we'd agree on a place to meet. And you guys, we were not meeting at, we would stand at a place and talk. We were meeting, he gives me the money to kipitana, if it's like he was... Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back. If you're a new subscriber, hi, my name is Mercy Dalidi. Welcome to the squad. Consider subscribing, give this video a like, a share, leave a comment, and that's how you get to support my content. Thank you for the love you've shown me on my previous videos. Asanteni sana. It really keeps me going. So today I'm coming up with a new hot episode. Ni kama mnapenda udako sana. I saw that on on the previous video, and I'm here to give you all that. So we are making an episode of basically Young, Stupid and Broke, and it is more of what we went through as teens, and it is something that happens in day-to-day lives, even in your life, and it's just that we have a platform to share with you what has been going on. Our clowning episodes, you see how we've been stupid in love and stuff like that, and yeah, you will all get the tea here on this channel. So if you've reached here and you've not subscribed, click that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, share this video to your friend, and let's grow as a family. So another thing is we will have anonymity. Hey, there will it will be anonymous because some of my friends are not comfortable to, you see, show on the screen, and that's perfectly fine. They will be anonymous, and let's get straight to episode 1 of Young, Dumb and Broke. Today's episode is my story of young, dumb, broke and stupid at the same time. So back in 2016 when we were in Form 3, so there was this boy. It was the first holiday we had, the longest holiday from November to December, 2 months. So our school had decided that since a lot of ladies were getting pregnant at that time, so as to curb that, they decided that we go for a community service, and then we will show them the recommendation letter as proof. So I began going for my community service. In between, my neighbor Adan, a boy, I'll call him, let me call him W. A boy called W comes to me and greets me, and he's like, hi. So there is this guy. Now that boy W had another friend. The friend, let's call the friend X. W had a friend called X. So the W comes and greets me and tells me that X had been sent by his brother to come and take my number. So, and X was afraid to approach me directly, so X decided to send W. At this time, both of them were in class 7. So let's get something straight. So W is now W is the friend to X. X is that boy's brother. So who is approaching you now? Like W is approaching me on behalf of X. Yes. So W is approaching me on behalf of X because X is afraid of approaching me, and plus he was just from the village and he didn't know how I would have taken it. So X comes to me and tells me, so W was sent by his brother to come and take your number and a lot of other things. And I'm like, why? So I decide to approach W, and it happens to be true. And I tell W to give me the phone number to the brother because I didn't have a phone at that time. I used to use my dad's phone at night when he gets from work, because we used to have a chemistry group on WhatsApp, and I had given my dad's number, so my dad was added to the group. So X gives me the number to his brother. I'll call his brother Y. X gives me Y's number. So at that day at night, as usual, I borrow my dad's phone, check on our chemistry group on WhatsApp. There was nothing, so I decided to text Y. So I'm like, hi, how are you? I heard you are looking for me. So why are you so excited? It's like, yes, how are you? How have you been and stuff? Okay, let me take you back. You see, X and Y were our neighbors. These are my childhood friends. We grew up together, but because their mom had been transferred to work in Ushago, let me say in up country, she went with them. So this is several years later. They left when they were children. Now this is several years later. Both Y and I are in Form 3 at this point. So let me take you back to where we are. So I greet Y on the phone, etc. We talk, and then Y is like, how are you? He began vibing me and a lot of things. The only thing I could remember about Y was that he was light skinned, and I have a liking for light skinned guys. So Y is like, so he gave me this vibe. I asked if he remembered me. Then he told me he doesn't really remember me, but venye ameambiwa anasikia niko mfiti pretty chocolate hivi. Guys, I had that. Mimi we are chubui. We began dating. We didn't even think about it. So we date. The following day, I go for my community service as usual. I volunteered as a teacher in a school. So I used to go, and then by around 3:30 I'll be home. So at 3:30 I come back home. On coming back home, I didn't know W was like spying on me. So W kind of told his brother why that I was back. And after telling him that, W just came and lended me his phone. Do you know what phone was that? This Nokia. Do you know those Nokias? Hizi za buttons za katululu za kitambo. Yeah, so he comes, and at that time he had kind of glued it together and then shikanished with the bladder. Now you know it's love. I don't know. It was. So he comes to me and he's like, why wants to speak to you? So I take the phone and I go to the toilet, to the washroom, so that no one would hear me, because I used to blush so much. So I greet him and he's like, hi. I'm also like, hi. Like, hey, you have a nice voice, how are you? And he called me, and he was with his friends. So I don't know, he wanted to brag to them that he had a girlfriend from Nairobi. I don't know. So he was with his friends, and his friends were like, okay. So we spoke, and then at night, kama kawaida, my dad comes, I borrow his phone and we chat. We continued like that. Then while we were in Form 4, he came around April, during the April holidays, to say hi to me. Now he only came for 2 days, so he came, we spoke, hi, and then he went back to the village, of course. Now after that, we were dating, but because I was in a boarding school, and then I don't know, I think he was in a day school, I can't remember very well, and I was in boarding. And you know, when you're in a boarding school here in Kenya, you don't have access to phone, so we would only talk during the holidays. So we would talk once in a while and stuff, but in between I would tell him like things like, you know, we can't date and etc. But on my side, it's because I was afraid, kind of ashamed, like, how will I tell my friends that my boyfriend is from the village? You know, those stupid vibes, you see. So I would tell him we break up, and he would like beg me, he would even cry on the phone and etc. So I decided to, at some point I saw like this thing was hurting him, so I stopped doing that. So he comes in January, now he comes in 2018, after we were done with Form 4, all of us. So he comes and decides to live with his dad and probably begin his life in Nairobi. So during those days, everything was fine. I was going to ZTech for computer classes, and he was just around. He hadn't figured out anything. Before that, you guys, before we did our KCSE exams, let me just take you back to before he came to Nairobi. Before we did our KCSE exams, I had told him that if he doesn't make it to the university, we are not dating, because maybe I knew definitely I would make it to the university. So the results come. And I asked him what he's got, and he's like, no, I don't want to tell you, because if I do, you leave me, and you know I love you, I wouldn't want that one to happen. I told him, no, I wouldn't leave you, I was only telling you that so that you would work harder in school. So after telling him, he decides to forward me his results. And he forwarded everything from his name to his index number to his grades. Let me tell you guys, I don't know where he got that courage from. So he sends me his results. I was shocked beyond measure. It wasn't A's, neither was it B's, and neither was it C's. The results were from D, D plus, D minus, D, D plus, D minus. I'm like, what? Hey, this boy is courageous. Okay, I still wonder. I don't know. I
like he really trusted
yes,
you that much.
Yes, I am still amazed. Like, what? Now my results came later. And after we had the semester and they came later, I had 1D in biology. So he's like, oh, send me yours. What have you gotten? But me, I had 1D. So I was ashamed. I was kind of scared. Me, if I have one result even in my portal, I wouldn't show anyone as long as it is one. So I was like, I can't show him. I just told him, you just know me, I'm going to campus. And I did well and I have a B. And he was like, just show me. And I was like, no, I don't trust you the way you do trust me. So it was just like that, and we continued dating. So he comes to Nairobi on January 2018. He comes, we meet, we talk. I remember the first day he came, he didn't know his way in town. So he was like, could you come and pick me up? And I told him no. I also didn't know my way in town at that time, because the farthest I had gone to town was when I was going to school and when I was returning. We would meet in the morning, every day in the morning at 8, before I leave for my computer classes to ZTech. So one of the days, I also had a faulty phone during that time. It was a Nokia, and he had an Itel. So I was like, when I get a job, I'll get myself a neon kicker and I'll give you this Itel of mine.
Why are you not telling us, Mama?
Oh, and he used to call me Mom, Mama, and all those sweet names. But most of the times he'd call me Mom. So he's like, Mom, when I get a job, I'll get myself a neon kicker and then I'll give you this Itel of mine. And I'm so excited. I had that time I didn't even had a smartphone. My dad had told me he'll get me one when I join campus. So I'm like, okay. I used to pray that he gets the job so that he gets me that. And before that, when he was still in the village, he was equally broke, because remember, all of us were students and still living in our parents' house and are still. So he would go to somebody's farm and he would farm, and he'd be paid something like 700 shillings. He'd send me 200 shillings with 50 bob worth credit, and then he'd be like, hey, Mom, have you received? I have surprised you today. Have you seen it? And I'm like, what's not happening? But it used to excite me. I used to be grateful, because even nowadays, no one will give you 200 just for free. Okay, so this boy would give me compliments. Like the first time he came to Nairobi, the second time he came, and we met in the evening. So he told me to go and greet him, and I was scared. I didn't want to open the gate because my dad had already locked the gate. But he was like, Mom, please just come. Please just come. So I decided to go. I opened the gate and I lied to my dad. I can't remember what I told my dad I was going to do outside, but my dad was like, okay. So I opened the gate and I go. I'm scared. This boy is tall. I was so short, and I had a good body. I had a flat tummy. I had it all. So I go to this boy and I greet him and we hug. And then after that, I quickly ran back to the house because I don't know what to tell him. I'm speechless and happy at the same time. So on going to the house, I find he had texted, Mom, please come back. And I told him no. I was like, na nimekuona umebeba. And I'm like, what is this boy telling me? I'm like, uko sawa. So during those days, we were still walking. We meet on the way and etc. So one day we met, and he texted me, today I saw you, you looked smart, but you are looking down. I didn't want to see him. And then he told me, I wanted to wink at you, but you were looking down, so I couldn't. So the following day we met and I looked at him, and guess what, you guys? He winked. He winked at me, and then on going home, and ananiambia, "Unaona nilikufinyia macho, ulisikia aje?" I'm like, I was blushing as those things are. I had never met such pure love. To me, it was pure. It was something that you know, it wasn't forced, it was just, it was pure. So he would tell me such things, and I remember when he came back, and you know fare ya gari huwa inabaki, so I would tell him, babe nibaie chipo, and he would be like, sawa, let's meet at this place. So we'd agree on a place to meet, and you guys, we were not meeting at, we would stand at a place and talk. We were meeting, he gives me the money to kipitana, if it's like he was greeting me. So he gives me the 50 shillings and he goes. And I would go and buy chipo, and he would ask me, hey, mekutosha and stuff, so tomorrow I'll borrow him. And this boy used to be someone that I'll borrow him something, and even if he didn't have, he wouldn't tell me no, but he would make sure he gives it to me. So he would surprise me with those two little things. So he comes to Nairobi, we continue dating. Everything just goes on well, and then he began acting different, and I asked him what the problem was. So he told me that his brother had told him that my dad is a lion. Let me say it, a lion. And I was like, that cannot be a reason, because this is somebody who has known my dad ever since we were babies and stuff. So after he told me that, I just got bored and decided, it's okay. So we didn't date for quite a while. I joined campus. Now, in the process of us not dating, we broke up in April. In July 13th, the same year I met somebody else, and we began dating. So when I joined campus in September, and I went home for the first weekend, I decided to go home. So I look at my phone, and somebody had texted, and I asked who it was, and he told me it was him. Why? He told me he still loved me and a lot of things, but I told him, you know, my dad is still a lion. One of the reasons he also gave me was that he doesn't have his own house, so we can't date because he doesn't have his own house. My dad is a lion, and plus I'm going to campus, so I'll definitely meet new people. Okay, that one for going to campus was a valid one, but the rest, I just told him, you know, my dad is still a lion, you still don't have your own house, and I'm still in campus, I'm still meeting new people. So the reasons you left me for are still there. They've not, like, you know, nothing has happened to change the circumstances. So I told him that, and plus I wouldn't have left my new boyfriend to go to him who had left me. Kumbe, I think God was trying to tell me something, because after that, do I tell them the next one?
The next character development of all years.
I got a PhD in character development on this boy I couldn't leave because of my village boyfriend.
Now, if you've reached here, you definitely know we are getting into something more juicier.
Intense.
Subscribe if you haven't. Watch out for part 2, right?
Please do.
Let's now do the ultimate
character development of character developments. Where?
See you in our next episode.
Bye.
Bye.